live now. Okay. This is ridiculous that this is not working. I have no request to join. I can invite. We might have to run this through YouTube. We'll see. We did okay with the Instagram Live last time, so I don't know. Could be because he's walking around Los Angeles. I'll give him a minute. Well, we had a great lineup. We were going to talk about where the soccer card market is year to date, some players that are up besides Lamine Yamal, where we think we're heading in the second half of the year. It's going to be exciting. HQ is going to be a curmudgeon as ever, and I was going to try to be somewhere in the middle. Strange that it's not working. Instagram doesn't want to work. Instagram's on vacation here, like BTL. Like I could pivot it to a what's up, Fish Boy? What's up, International? Hey, Credo, Vancouver, Kentucky Fried, Corner Flag, RMP. How you guys doing? Happy Thursday, July 3rd. Man, this week has really gotten away from me. I've been working from home, not really working from home. And, yeah, I don't know what day it is. We're desperately trying to make this work. I'm just going to have to only do these with Brent from now on. That's it. HQ's out. All right, I've invited him. Again. I don't know. The only thing that's different, because I'm in the same place I'm always at, the only thing that's different is that he's on the move. So we'll see if the HQ can get it together. Otherwise, we'll probably pop over to YouTube and I'll drop the link in the Discord and on Instagram. But hopefully we can get our technical issues corrected. This shouldn't be, we're not doing anything too crazy here. Technology. Man, I had some great stats too. Oh. Lamine Yamal is up more year to date than any of the Pokemon characters. Make sure the app is updated. Genius. Damn. Shit, hold on, let me check on Steam. Is updated. My app is up to date. I don't think that's the move. I just updated. Try again, he said. Okay. He just updated his app. Here we go. We're going to try again. All right, I'm inviting him. Invite sent. Oh, baby.
All right.
Look at us. There he is.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Give me thumbs up in the chat if you guys can hear. I think you can hear. Football Breaker, what's up?
Can anybody hear me?
Gem Nance, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, yeah.
Yeah, I think we're good. There's a delay with the chat, so you kind of gotta. Thumbs up if you can hear. Thumbs down if you can't hear. We got a 100, so that should work. Thumbs down according to the Football Fanatic. Really? No, yes. 5 by 5. I don't know what that means. All right, we got thumbs up. We're good.
All right. Sorry about
All right,
that, I guess.
We're finally here. HQ, on the move, BTL, stationary. What do we got there? A little palm tree situation? You got to hear some birds chirping?
Yeah, this is the Walking with HQ City edition. You never know what you're going to get.
Metro edition. All right. So We've been talking a lot about this, mostly in the Lamine Yamal context, but I think we're going to try to zoom out a little bit here, potentially. Are we entering a soccer card boom?
I think we are entering a boom of the best cards, of the best players, and Lamine Yamal.
Plus Lamine Yamal. Any Lamine
Plus
Yamal
Lamine
rookie
Yamal.
card. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
I mean, apparently it's not even just rookie cards. Apparently it's any Lamine Yamal card. Um, and then the best cards of the best players.
All right, so let's set the stage here a little bit with some data. Lamine Yamal year to date, according to Card Ladder,
Boo! Oh, sorry.
which
Sorry. When I hear
we
it.
can have a debate, but it is the issue is you're looking for how can I aggregate this data in a way that is going to be able to be used, and Card Ladder is one of the only platforms that can do
Yeah,
something
yeah.
close to that. Yamal year to date up 338%, which is insane. You know, it's crazy when the guys on the Sports Card Madness podcast are talking about Lamine Yamal because they hate
Yeah.
soccer. Like they never talk about soccer.
Sorry. Just seeing what this street cleaner is going to do. All right. He's turning. That's good. All right. Sorry about that.
All right, so Lamine Yamal up 338%, more than any Pokemon character. Soccer up year to date 15%, which is more than any other sport. More than basketball, which has already had their finals, had their peak. Only losing to Pokemon, really, in terms of general categories. So tell me why you think that the boom is only going to be limited to the best players and then the best cards of those best players.
So I think it comes down to this. You have to the boom is happening and will continue to happen for the most part in cards that people outside of soccer want to buy. Like this is how it's always been, going back to the original boom. Um,
2021, yeah.
yeah, 2021. That was Holland, Mbappe. Obviously Messi, Ronaldo, and I mean that one felt way more wide, or more
Yeah,
expansive,
deep.
um,
Yeah, yeah.
deep than this one. This one feels very shallow. Um, but yeah, it basically comes down to the cards that other people want. They're willing because they're comparing these soccer cards to their basketball cards,
Right.
or their
Base.
football cards,
Right.
or whatever, right? So they're used to paying five figures for a quarterback that's barely taken a snap,
Right.
right?
Right.
Whereas soccer players, we're willing to pay three figures for a prospect that's in Bundesliga 2 or whatever it is, right?
Right.
For the most part.
You're Ray
So
Biggers. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. So it's
Yeah.
like if we cross over, if the player or the card or however you want to look at it crosses over to a basketball collector or a football collector, then that card can have a boom. But the boom is not going to happen for the most part in a soccer player that only, the diehard soccer player, or sorry, the diehard soccer collector knows, right? Even if they're
Yeah.
good, like, I mean, he's
Like
a little bit old.
who do you want to pick on?
Yeah, I mean, like Yacarez is like, he's older, so he's not the best, but the guy had an incredible season, right? But
Right.
nobody knows who he is, right?
Outside of
And
soccer. Yeah. Right.
outside of soccer, right? So you know he's never going to have a boom unless if
Well, a transfer
somehow.
boom separate. Yeah.
To me the transfer boom is like a little soccer boom that doesn't
Yeah.
compare to the real boom,
It's not what's
right?
happening in the Yamal and then some of the Messi cards right now. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, we're
It,
seeing crazy growth in basically all of the Yamal, everything Yamal, and then some Messi, but basically high end Messi or like the best Messi cards, and then playing day Messi cards, and then some Cristiano Ronaldo cards.
yeah, like playing day Cristiano Ronaldo. I think and this is something that I've talked about on like a lot of these lives and sometimes in reviews and so forth. Like playing day matters to the people that are going to cause the boom. If it, I'm not, it doesn't matter to soccer right now because the soccer is like very, you know, elementary and it's collecting. We're just like, oh, that's a Messi card. It's Barcelona. Who cares if it's from 2024? Whereas soccer, I mean, whereas like a basketball and a football guy doesn't want a legend, in 2024, they're gonna pay way up for a card that was relevant to the time,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
so and then that's kind of like what we're probably gonna start seeing here. Like everything that's gonna happen in soccer is gonna take time from that standpoint. Like I was having a conversation with a European collector the other day, and he was in we got talking to like what I look at, and I'm like, I like true color, I like reds and golds and stuff like that, and he was just more like, yeah, I just buy whatever. I don't care if it's a 299 speckle, because if the player goes up, the people in Europe don't care that it's a 299 speckle, right?
Interesting. Yeah, that's
and
interesting.
and he was like, so I just kind of got to get the player right, and then
Hmm.
and this is a short term flip
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
mentality,
Yeah, yeah.
right? So he's like, I just kind of got to get the player right. It doesn't really matter about the card, and I do not have that mentality. I'm not saying that mentality can't work. Like it's clearly working, over there. But I think what's going to happen is as time goes on, like you see it. I've seen the evolution. Whoa, whoa, whoa! That's loud. I've seen the evolution of people that came in 2021, and now they're trying to consolidate
Yeah, yeah.
into bigger, better cards, right? Well, the
Yeah.
people that are coming in now, they're just happy to have a
Yeah.
299 speckle,
Yeah, but
but in 2 years, they're going to want to
all
consolidate.
right, so let's talk about the short term next 6 months. Like how are we confirm because there's a bunch of stuff happening, right? Like you got the outside money coming in for Lamine Yamal and then maybe bleeding into some other guys. The question is asked, how do we confirm that that's actually what's happening? And I think the answer for me is just mostly anecdotal by people that I follow on Instagram that have a lot of Jordans on their page, and then all of a sudden you see them buying a Lamine Yamal, right? Like, is there
Yeah,
more information than just it's just our anecdotal observations, right?
yeah. I mean, it's clearly happened. Like I said, mine's anecdotal as well. Like I sold 90% of my Yamal. I told you I went to that local show.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I asked the guy that had some soccer. He was like, "Nah, no thanks." And then I go over to a guy that doesn't have a single soccer card in his showcase, and he buys everything, and pays well, right? And so it's obviously, yes, it's all anecdotal, but it feels that way. And like even when I posted with the last Golden, when I posted I did 4 polls, and it was basically comparing a Lamine Yamal card to a card of another player that was essentially the same value that ended, at
Yeah.
this same price.
Would you
And
rather have which of these cards? Yeah.
yeah, would you
Yeah.
rather have each of these cards? And I just picked 2 cards that were, as close as possible. And Lamine Yamal lost every single one of them in a
Yeah.
landslide,
Crazy.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And my followers are obviously, you know,
Soccer. Yeah.
soccer. Like
Yeah.
I do have some of a very few of like the that have funneled over and kind of want more general knowledge. But I think for the most part, soccer people didn't cause this boom,
Right.
right? And so
I don't. Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think that's right. I don't think among our group, which is a small community, and we know most of the people that are buying at that level for the most part through Instagram and Discord and whatnot and Fanatics Live. At least in the U.S., like none of our friends were participating in the buying of those things. So it's
yeah,
like, you know, we, most of us are like exiting Yamal to get into like a Messi rookie or a Ronaldo rookie or something else like that. So I think, what do you think it means for SoCo? Because that's kind of where my gaze is now. We're about a month away from the soccer card convention, SoCo Expo at the National. It is a soccer only or soccer heavy event. It is going to be 3 times as many tables as last year. Like, what do you think will happen on the Yamal front? Yamal, Messi, Ronaldo. Like, what do you see happening at the show?
So I think if you could tell me what percentage of the crowd is not soccer collectors that's going to show up,
Oh, I
then
think
I
it'll
can,
be mostly soccer people. Let's just
yeah.
assume mostly
If
soccer.
if it's mostly soccer that shows up, I think there will be. I don't think Yamal's going to move the way that everybody thinks he's going to move. I think
Like
maybe
higher end. Yeah.
I don't even I'm not even sure if it's higher end. I'm not sure if it's any end to be honest. Like I think maybe people will trade into it. And here's the thing. I don't think outside of a general just whatever crash of everything, like I don't think that Yamal's gonna die in the next 6 months. Assuming he doesn't get injured, blah 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 blah. Right? But
Right, right, sure. Sure.
we're just starting the World Cup hype
Oh
cycle,
yeah. Yamal doesn't even
right?
have it. He doesn't even, where I want to talk about World Cup separately, but he doesn't even have his first prism yet. I mean,
Yeah,
wait till that. But
yeah, exactly. Like so, like this isn't like so I personally sold Yamal. I was fine, but like I'm also not one of these people that like cares if I
yeah,
miss potential upside. But like a
the
lot of
tippy
people
top.
get yeah, a lot of people get paralyzed by like um not wanting to sell early, right, or whatever. So
Right,
they're like, oh,
right.
if I think he can still go up, and I do think Yamal can probably still go up from here,
Yeah,
right?
I think you will.
Um,
Yeah.
and like I had this discussion with somebody the other day, and I said either you're going to have one of you're either going to have another chance to buy Yamal, and that's the day he gets eliminated from the World Cup, and if he doesn't get eliminated, you're never going to have a chance to buy him again, right? And so, like from now until that point, I mean, I don't think he's going to fall off a cliff unless, maybe if he starts next club season and doesn't score. But, like, I don't even think people care if he scores at this point. Like,
Well, I
it's the
mean, I think
wild.
so much of the money is from folks that are not paying attention on as granular a level as we are, that
Right.
him not scoring in a one-off game against Getafe is not going to matter to that market, right? So, I it's interesting though because you've got a lot of players that are up big on the year. Like Messi and CR7 are both up 20%, but Pedri's up 25%, Saka's up 27%, Pulisic is still up big, Heung-Min Son is
Well,
up
we don't know.
whatever.
I don't believe Pulisic is up big. I think that's just bad data. I do
Heung-Min
think
Son is up. Son is up 55%. Yeah, he doesn't like the card ladder. All right, you can go on your little card ladder 30 seconds
no,
there.
no, I'm not going on the rant. I think it's bad data. Like, I look at auctions every single day, right?
Right.
And
Yeah.
so like I'd like to think I have a decent idea. Like obviously Pedri is way up. Pedri performed. He kind of got the Lamine Yamal coattail.
Yeah.
Saka, the Arsenal collectors just keep coming and coming and coming, and they're the best collector base. So I could see that. Pulisic, I'm buying like really great Pulisic cards for nothing right now. So like it's hard for me. It's hard for me to believe that he's up. I own Pulisic. I have Pulisic listings. I've been buying Pulisic. Like I just don't that I don't see it. And I looked in Card Ladder and like I found some bad sales data. So I think there's players that are obviously up. I tease that it's a two and a half player market, or 2.5 player boom. I obviously the Pedri's. I'm sure Rafinha is way up. I don't even know if Rafinha's in card ladder. I'm sure he's up.
Nah, he's not. Yeah.
But
Two ways up.
yeah,
Some of these guys don't have play.
yeah, yeah.
If you don't know, Card Ladder, which is a aggregator subscription platform that will scrape sales data from eBay, Golden, all the major auction houses. It started to pull in card, what is the Asian one? Card Hot. Card
Card
hobby.
hobby.
And aggregates the data. So there was a question, how is the data bad? I think there's some discrepancy in some of those sales for certain Pulisic rookies that may not have actually
Yeah,
been paid for.
just to give, this is just one, like I looked at others, but this is just one example. Like they have a Pulisic 2016 Select Silver Rookie PSA 10, right? And the one sale I think was like 500 back in the day, and the next sale shows as 1,000. But if you look at the eBay, 5 days before the 1,000, which was a buy it now, there was an
Yeah.
auction that ended at 666.
Yeah,
So like,
I just never go with the buy it now, like
but Card
as a
Ladder
comp.
does.
Yeah. No, I know, but it's
Yeah.
aggregating all the sales. So if there's enough volume, it should smooth it out.
Well,
But
and I don't think there's enough volume is the
yeah,
other
yeah.
problem. But
I
okay,
mean,
enough about Card
but
Ladder. I
but
mean,
like but if you do look at the data overall, the sales volume for soccer is up as high as it's ever been, even including the boom. So like there, and I think I could say anecdotally, and some of the guys that stream can probably also chime in. Like there are more new people joining breaks and joining shows and buying stuff through live selling than I think I've ever experienced. Every time I run a stream lately, the Lamine Yamal buyer is new, and so a new buyer to me, which is expected, I think, based on what we've talked about. But just more new people all over. So the question is, will there be some kind of build up to the World Cup that kind of bleeds into other players besides the two and a half we've talked about?
I think it's gonna come down to what is the World Cup's on Fox again, right? I think
Yeah.
whatever
Fox has the
whatever, whoever that they pump in their commercials,
yeah,
which are gonna start during football season, I assume NFL season.
yeah,
That I mean, that's gonna be like the players that I probably think are gonna go up. I mean, I know it sounds silly, but like that is my general overall thesis on what causes soccer cards to go mental. I'm not
yeah,
saying 10%. I'm not saying 20%. I'm saying 200%, 300%. You know, and I shared that video. I was at the mall the other day, and I shared that video of anecdotal. It's purely anecdotal of like there was a guy that was selling soccer jerseys, right? And
yeah,
he only had six different players,
yeah,
right? And it was Jude, Messi, Ronaldo, Lamine, Mbappe, and Holland, right?
yeah.
And so like if you're sitting in Europe and you're wondering like who Americans care about, like that's we're stupid. That's who we care about,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
Like that's but I don't think it's a terrible list at the same time, you know?
No, it's a
But
good list. I mean, it's a good list, and I think what you see. First of all, I've lost so much money to those little fake jersey vendors in the mall. Uh, my kid's running around in a bootleg Cole Palmer jersey right now. I just wonder, looking back to last World Cup is hard to do because we were coming off the boom, so all of the data shows a massive decline in the
yeah,
index for the lead up because we were so high in 2021 that like by the time you get to November 2022, like it's hard to kind of extrapolate from that. But with the influx of it's interesting, I think, the influx of outside collectors plus the competition being hosted domestically and like can we pull it off? The Club World Cup has definitely not helped promote the World Cup in any way. I don't know why people thought it would. Um, but I think it's going to be interesting to see. There could be a few more players that take off outside of Yamal and Messi and Ronaldo.
I I think they're absolutely could, but I would not bet against them three being the highest. Just
Well,
just
Messi and Ronaldo
because of the
aren't
way
even the
I think
highest.
it's going to work.
They're not even the highest right now, Messi and Ronaldo. But yeah, I mean, I see your point is, um,
Yeah, I mean, there's going to be a couple players that
Diego Luna. Yeah, hell yeah.
there's going to be a couple players that show out in the beginning of next year, or throughout
Yeah,
next club season, but like you don't know who they're going to be. I don't know who they're going to be,
no.
right? So if you're asking me like where I'd be putting new money if I didn't have a soccer card and I'm putting new money to work and I really don't like. I'm not a soccer guy, but like I kind of want the exposure. I don't see why you would do anything but Lamine, Messi, or Ronaldo, right? Like they might not be the highest, but like they're by far, I think, outside of injury and stuff, I think they're by far the safest, especially Messi and Ronaldo. I mean, assuming they both show, which all
Seems like they
signs are pointing
will.
to them
Yeah.
showing, then like how? I mean, they are going to get shoved down our throat
Oh
so
yeah.
much.
It'll be their last World Cup,
It'll
almost
be their last.
undoubtedly.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
it'll be their last World Cup. They're going to get shoved down our throats. We're going to hear every story, every highlight, everything ever, and that's what the people are gonna see.
To me,
Um,
I would say um, those are safe. If you're looking for a little less safe, I don't know how you even say this is less safe, but um, to me, it's Mbappe still, and then I would pair him with Holland. Like I think
yeah,
that's the move that I will be executing over the next several months because I just feel like Mbappe is in a position to win three more potentially World Cups before he's done. Like he's going to be in the mix. France will be in the mix. Like
yeah. I think. I mean, I probably would have said this 3 months ago, 6 months ago, whatever, and it seems, if you believe the data, that I'm wrong. But Holland and Mbappe feel like the ultimate like free roll almost. Again, excluding injury, yada yada. But just like we assume they're healthy, right?
yeah,
And because Mbappe is coming off like Real Madrid lost everything,
yeah,
right?
right.
And the same with City. And so that's already like that showed in their prices. They both had
Oh yeah,
like they both
bad,
had good seasons,
bad
They both
prices.
had good
Yeah,
seasons, but like, City, I said the other day, Holland's the fastest to 300 goals, and Mbappe was the youngest by a week. He beat Holland by a week, took him like 39 extra games or whatever, blah, blah, blah. But like Holland's way down because City had a rash of injuries and their whole defense got hurt. and like, and Mbappe just got swallowed by Lamine. Like
yeah,
I'm famously wrong on the Lamine take from whatever it was a year and a half ago. I just thought there'd be too many rookies. Clearly wrong. But I do
yeah.
remember on our
Real
Madrid,
Madrid one.
we did
Yeah,
that Madrid video. I said, I didn't think the Madrid thing would work. I still don't think Mbappe and Vinny and that whole setup is like from just strictly a playing sense is like a good thing. And I said something to the effect of whoever beats them is going to get like the jump, because all we heard of last summer was this team is unstoppable,
right,
Mbappe, Vinny, blah 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 blah, right? Um, I should have realized that the team that had the best chance to do that. I was thinking more like Champions League, which is probably where I was wrong. I should have just been thinking domestically, and
domestic.
the team that
Yeah,
was going to do that was going to be Barcelona, and,
Barcelona.
and Barcelona was Lamine Yamal. Like that was like an oversight by me, but I kind of feel like the opposite way now, whereas like everybody's anointed Barcelona as the greatest thing ever, and now if Madrid figure it out, which they may or may not, but figure it out, then they're right back where they are right now, which is already
Right.
thrown out. They're already thrown out in the trash. But if they figure it out and they do beat Barcelona, how do they not then get the jump that Barcelona essentially got, right?
Yeah, and it
So
should
that's
be. I
kind of
mean,
how.
should be coming. He's with France. They're going to make a. You've got to be betting
Yeah,
on them to make a deep run in the tournament. He's their main player. Like it lines up well for Mbappe. He's actually his pricing's not as bad this year as Holland. Mbappe down
yeah. Holland.
3% on the year. Holland down 20. Holland just
I think
fell off a cliff.
everybody's been told Holland's like. I mean, if you ask anybody outside of soccer, they probably don't even realize that Holland's like, if unless Norway does something really really stupid and bad, like he's going to be in the World Cup. Like they
Right.
basically got to beat.
They'd have to
Well,
choke. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, they have to beat Estonia, Moldova, and Israel, right? And then so they're in good shape. And no, they're not going to make like a super long run, but Holland at the World Cup with a chance to do something Holland like is going to probably help him dramatically. But yeah, I mean, I think Mbappe is the this definitely from a safer standpoint internationally, which clearly matters. He's clearly in a much better
Yeah,
spot.
better position. Holland down 42% since the beginning of last Premier League season. That's just amazing.
I mean,
I
the
mean,
whole the Holland market is just going to be fascinating to watch. Like I own Holland cards. Um, like the guy, makes the move, wins the treble, sets the EPL record, goes down,
yeah,
and then has I don't know. He just keeps scoring. Like at the end of his career, he's probably going to have twice as many goals as Lamine Yamal. Where we were taught goals mattered, and then now we're like maybe goals don't matter.
yeah, it's
It's
weird.
like it's like dribbling matters more than goals right now. It's like it's crazy.
Oh yeah,
Um,
if you can come from the right side with your left foot and smack one in, that's all that matters. That's it.
yeah, yeah. I
That's
I
it.
mean
It's the
yeah. Hey, back in
Saka Lamine Yamal model. Like that's just the move.
yeah. It's I'd like to disagree, but I don't. I'm not even sure you can based on like what we're seeing at this exact moment.
Yeah, right.
I you know that's more short term. I mean, I just who yeah I can't. I'd like to say I can't see it playing out long term, but who knows? Because it's like a different world. But
Doku
like
Doku stock huge up with dribbling.
well that's the joke I always make. Like I'm like if you love Lamine's dribbling and finishing,
Let me
wait until
tell
you
you
see
about
Doku.
Let me tell you about
Yeah, let me tell you
Savinho.
about
Yeah,
let me tell you about Jeremy Doku, man. I mean, like it's kind of hilarious to me, but as we know in cards, and this is every sport, it's not just soccer. Hype matters
yeah.
way more than production, and that's always going
Sell,
to be the case.
yeah.
And that,
It's sell the sizzle, not the steak. I mean, it's always the hype.
yeah,
You know. Yeah,
yeah, and that's why I said if you can tell me who's going to be on every Fox World Cup commercial, and it's not one of those, like if they randomly. I mean, I don't know who they could randomly pick, but if you tell me that person, I would buy their cards right now, sight unseen. Like not
that's
knowing
just it.
anything else
That's the
other
move.
than
We're waiting for the first World Cup commercials to drop, and then we buy.
yeah. I mean, and just see if it's like a random. I mean, it won't be like
Who could it be
if
outside of the
Holland,
guys we've said? You know what I mean? Like
I yeah, I mean,
Diego Luna. Diego Luna would be great.
if you're not selling Diego Luna cards right now, then you haven't learned from like the last 3 4 years. And I think I mean,
I don't
he's
even have
fun.
any.
Yeah. I mean, I don't have any either, obviously, but yeah,
Same.
take advantage of these moments. I mean, and that's kind of like more of my general um, take on all of it. Like, and like tying it back to Soko. If people are going to basically wait for, like, if they think their card, like I don't know, just name a random player.
Phil
They think
Foden.
that because, yeah, if they think that, actually, I think Foden's a decent, just like free
Old.
roll type buy, just a
Fine.
decent free roll too. Because I mean, you talk about people in the toilet. Phil Foden's in the ultimate toilet.
Yeah, yeah. Down
Um,
bad.
he's down bad. I think I mean, the guy's one season removed from Premier League Player of the Year. But anyway, like if you just have a guy that's not one of these guys that's gone on the thing, but you're like, well, everything's up double. I'm gonna wait for double for this card. I think you're gonna be holding that card forever.
This was
You
like
know?
someone posted an eBay chat that I sent you yesterday where it's like Lamine Yamal's up X%, so this Neymar is up the same amount. I'm gonna wait. Like
Yeah, yeah. I
I
mean
mean,
that's like that's maybe will happen for someone, but that's not, in my
it's not.
opinion, going to happen for soccer, right?
Yeah.
And so I think if people are willing to sell their cards whether it be at SoCo and or eBay and or anywhere they would sell a soccer card, if they're happy with like the 20% bump that might come,
Yeah,
then I think they're gonna sell cards. If they're waiting for 2 and 3x,
maybe
I'm
waiting.
not so sure that I think they're gonna be waiting.
And I think we've seen through the Yamal craze that the soccer people who have been around are not necessarily participating in the buying, so they're probably not at SoCo going to be willing to pay 3x for a Neymar. You know what I mean? I think
Yeah,
that's true. Like everything else should move, but if you want, even if you wanted like true Yamal comps on some of these high end cards, I just don't know that there's the buyer pool. It'll be interesting to see. Is there the buyer pool there for those
well,
types
yeah.
of cards?
I mean, I'm not gonna put him on blast, but we have that mutual friend that was trying to sell the marks of
Mark.
excellence, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And well, he was seeing like these, eBay prices,
Yeah.
and he was like trying to sell it through his channels, which are only soccer channels, and I was like, dude, these aren't soccer people paying this amount for this card. You're either gonna have to bite the bullet and pay the eBay fee or the golden fee, or you're probably not going to sell the card,
Right.
and
Right.
I think ultimately after beating himself up for a month or 6 weeks or however long it ended up being, he finally realized, yeah, like he can't, like the people that he can get the card in front of are not the people that are
Not the buyers.
paying.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're not the ones paying up. And so I think people need to realize that, like, I'm sure I don't go into like random, basketball or other sport streams, like whatnot, single streams or repacks or whatever.
Oh,
But
really?
those, no, but those guys are, I mean, I'm sure like you can make a hell of a, like, the narrative around Lamine and make money selling
Oh,
to
yeah.
someone that doesn't know any better.
Oh, yeah. Because the money to them, a high end, mid high end basketball collector, is just different level. Those cards are at a different level than the best soccer cards, even, right? Most of the best. So, like, there's a disparity in pricing across those two sports that makes them dropping 10 grand on a card different than you or I investing 10,000 in a card,
Yeah,
or
exactly.
a soccer guy. Yeah. Is it
Yeah, and
possible? Yeah, go ahead.
go ahead. No, I was just going to say, and I think that's why we could get, you know, say maybe up 20% between now and then, because if these Lamine people are selling, these Lamine who are selling are probably soccer people, right? Like
Right.
especially at this
Yeah.
stage of the turnover process, right? So if they come in and they take that money and they're like, "Hey, I want X player instead, like a nice player," and they start spending all that on other players, and then like we will get that general just move up
Yeah.
in other players, but it's going to be 10-20% or whatever. I don't, you
Yeah.
know,
It's not going to
that
be,
that's
yeah.
that's the way at least that's the way it's playing out in my head. Obviously, I could be wrong.
And then
Um,
the fun little stupid thing about Lamine is that the best way as a soccer buyer, potentially, to enjoy and participate in this rise is through joining breaks. Like,
yeah.
that
Well, second
becomes
year
the
breaks.
yeah, or like anytime you can get what you perceive to be a good value where there's good possible hits, right? Like, I haven't even seen many Lamine Yamal rookie breaks anymore. The product is just so expensive to buy that it's probably getting to the point of being not breakable. Um, so that becomes an interesting little weird thing. Whereas normally we would both probably sit here, even I run breaks and say like, yeah, it's not the best way to like invest your money and spend your money if you're going to, return on investment in breaks is probably the lowest way to do it. Um, it's probably right now the only feasible way possibly into that market for a lot of our soccer buyers who are, tend to not want to spend 10,000 bucks on a single card. But like me, historically, like I'd much rather have 20 cards that are 500 bucks and I could just get out of them quickly than have one thing 10,000. You get a crappy comp from Asia, or you get a terrible buy it now low offer, and then it screws your whole plan up because there's just not enough volume to
Yeah.
kind of claw your way back. There's a good question here. Is it possible that a larger boom will come in anticipation to the World Cup than the actual World Cup? Meaning, prices may go up and leading up to the cup, but start falling before it even starts. I mean,
Oh,
I think that's usually
yeah.
right. Yeah.
This is I could be completely wrong here, but I do think if you go back and look, and obviously as you stated, we were going down
Yeah, it's hard.
in
It's hard to
December
see.
2022, but like I vividly remember being like the best time to sell was like the summer.
October, September.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
And
I
I do
agree.
think what's going to happen here. I do think that the World Cup being in June, July is actually really good for us because I personally have this. I have nothing to back it up on other than anecdotally. But like, if you see when the Lamine rise this year started, the boom started. It started once like the Lakers got kicked out of the playoffs. Like the baseball buying kind of started, even though I don't think it's baseball. I think it's more football, right? So I think what's going to happen is football is going to end, and then those people are kind of probably going to play basketball until the
Mm-hmm.
playoffs, which is going to be, April, Mayish, and then I think they're going to turn their attention maybe if they think there's enough time to like get in and out, and I could see the rise into it, but unless you are confident you have cards of the winner, you're better off selling before the World Cup than you are waiting for the World Cup, unless if it's like a rant like Gonzalo Ramos throwing up a hat trick or something. But like,
Yeah.
you know, but that was
Yeah,
short lived.
you got to be prepared for those spikes, and he didn't have a lot of cards at the time either. Bryn said the actual set of that year is what really pops off during World Cup 2022. 2022 Prism singles prices were insane. That's true, but that set comes out like the day before the first game, or like 2 days before the first game. So
Yeah,
you're still in
it's
a
gonna
new
depend.
release. Also, at like the timing of when Panini does this, I think will matter.
The timing will definitely matter, and it's like,
They'll get
I
it
mean,
out. They'll drop it in freaking October. Like
I'm, I'm, I'm fascinated to see what they price this out at because
yeah,
if you look at the the wax prices of 14, 18, and 2022, they literally make no sense. Like it makes no sense
no,
whatsoever.
it's
You know,
silly. Yeah,
and like 22 looks like the ultimate bargain of all time when you compare them to the other two. And I've long stated 2014 boxes are the worst rip in the whole hobby.
oh,
It's
brutal.
it's one it's one of the best sets, and it's one of the worst rips in the whole hobby, right? So from
Yeah,
that standpoint, it doesn't make sense. So can can Panini really come out here and like price 2026 boxes higher than you can buy 2022, aka Messi's winning World Cup year? I think they're going to, but
mm,
then like what I don't know. That's fascinating. That's one of those things I think about, and I'm just like, I think they're going to do it, and I don't know if people. I don't think they'll care. I think they'll spend because there'll be so much hype. But like 2022 wax just looks dirt cheap compared to everything else.
yeah. I was buying cases when they came out, 2022, in those first couple of weeks for like 2,500, 3 grand,
Yeah, but
which
they're
is
still only well unless something's happened. I
yeah.
mean, what are they 445, 5 grand right
Let's see.
now?
Let's see what we could get one for right now. If we
I mean
want
the
one, Prison World Cup
but
hobby. Yeah, I mean the last ones are like there's none you can even buy there. 5,700. Yeah, that's not bad.
no, I mean because I'd be shocked. I hope I'm wrong. I'd be shocked if a 2026 prison box is. I think it's going to be like 499. Like
Really? Oh,
I hope not.
should be 300 bucks, 250. That's crazy.
If it comes out 250 or 300 bucks, I'll be so happy
Shocked.
to be wrong.
I
No,
know.
no, I'll be happy to be wrong.
DJQ
Um,
DJQ said we said this. You're not realizing 2026 Prism will be Yamal's World Cup rookie.
yo,
Hey yo,
until
hell
his
yeah.
next rookie.
20.
Yeah, I can't wait until he plays in the Club
Keep
World
going
Cup
with
and
it.
gets his Club World Cup rookie.
Yeah,
Right? I
they'll
mean,
have a special logo for it that they could put on it. So good.
DJQ sent me the 2025 Goodwin champion or Godwin champions checklist the other day with Lamine Yamal rookies
Hell yeah.
2025 set.
Hell yeah. Let's do it.
Yeah,
More. I
yeah,
mean,
yeah.
so I think the thing, we always say kind of tongue in cheek or just like outrightly complaining about it, but the kind of the hilarious thing is like all this stuff still continues to sell. So like obviously there is some kind of market for it, right? Like,
At this point, I'm more shocked by the second year market than I am the rookie market. I mean,
yeah, the second year
I
auto market, yeah,
yeah.
it's crazy.
I mean, it's that's something I definitely didn't. I mean, look, I said it before. I've missed the whole I've missed the Lamine thing. Like I've I got it wrong. Hand up, I got it wrong. Hand up, I got it
Hand
wrong.
up, hand
And
up.
I kind of still I keep getting it wrong because I would have never seen the second year market. Like people like, but I don't think I'm going to be wrong in the long run. But what does that matter? Like like people don't care about the long run.
Well, and a lot
You
of
know,
people aren't holding for the long run. You know what I mean? Like, if it's a short-term flip or relatively short-term hold and sell, then does the
but
long run matter for those people? You know?
I mean, but if you're buying a second year card now and you're trying to flip, like you're buying any card on release and then trying to flip it is
Yeah, that's probably not going
behavior
to work. Yeah,
that is very very silly, right?
yeah,
I'm not saying that mentality doesn't exist. I'm just saying like you, it doesn't work, and I'm not saying it can't work. I'm just saying overall it doesn't work, right? And so that's why I'm just like, who's buying who's paying 60, 70% for a second year card of a rookie? Like what I talked about earlier, like how other sports operate. These other sports, I mean, like baseball, especially, and I don't think the baseball, they don't give a crap about a non rookie or a non first
I
card.
know, I
Like,
know.
like you can get, I mean, you know this because you dabble in baseball. Like, you
Hmm.
can get superstars, like low numbered superstars for nothing, unless if it's like super soccer superfractors, non rookie superfractors go for more than baseball superfractors.
Oh
Of
yeah,
like, I mean, like, and it's not even close. Like
dude, you can get
the
like I'm buying Mariano Rivera Superfractor autos for nothing. Like
yeah, yeah,
nothing.
and
Like
so I'm not saying that like soccer's going to follow that, but I come from baseball,
yeah, yeah,
and have dabbled in the other, and so I just see what happens there, and that's kind of where my collecting, mentality, mindset, whatever you say, comes
yeah,
from.
yeah.
I'm not
Do you
saying
think?
it has to be that way.
Do you think it boils down to the passion behind the sport? I mean, I think soccer's always been, in my experience, has been weird because you have all these little like, which I don't see a lot in football and basketball collectors. You have all these little like cults, like like I collect my team and like I'm hardcore about that. Whereas like a lot of the guys, like you go to a show and it's like they're selling all the basketball guys, they're selling all the football guys. Like my
Yeah,
stuff is like I got a bunch of Arsenal, so like the Arsenal collectors come to me. Brangle's got a bunch of Liverpool. Bryn's got a bunch of Liverpool. Those guys go to him. Primetime's got a bunch of United. You know what I mean? Like it is kind of like these little cults of like we love our team
and
more so it seems like than other sports.
that's super healthy. Like that, I mean, I wish there was more of that because that is super healthy because that's collectors, right? That's not flippers. And
Right.
so, for the most part, that's not flippers. And so that mentality can last for long. But I think a lot of that's overblown in the soccer hobby. I think Liverpool has a good collector base. I think that Arsenal obviously has a good collector base. I think if United ever won another game, they would
Yeah.
have
They'd
a
have a
have a
great.
good
Yeah.
they'd
Yeah.
have a great collector base. But like people tell me about this like Barcelona and Madrid like collector base, and I don't see it. I think there's a couple like big spenders, but
Yeah. I
like
think
I mean
it depends on
I don't see it.
what end you're at. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, like what Tony Fernandez comes out like young as hell, Barca, plays the right position, but and his rookie cards are going for absolutely nothing. Nobody's even talking about the guy, and you know, I guess it's because he plays on the same team as Lamine Yamal, and I'm not saying to like invest in that guy, but I think if that guy was on Arsenal, like people would be scooping his cards up, even though he plays
Oh,
on the
I
same
mean,
team as
well,
Saka.
but
You know,
If Erling Haaland was on Arsenal, his cards would sell for 4x what they do. I mean, the club
yeah,
matters. But that I think the thing with Tony is you fall victim to like what we talked about with Real Madrid. Can the team
yeah,
support? And that's why Gavi cards also going down. You know, like he was a big rookie a couple years ago. Cards have gone down.
yeah. He played
There's
the
just
wrong position, but
plays the wrong position, but like has a great personality and like
yeah.
is fun to watch play. Plays with his heart on his sleeve. Like if you watch the team, you're like, yeah, give me more of this kid. Like uh, it's tough. Somebody said, is there more passion behind? Or I don't know if this is a question. More passion behind soccer versus baseball. I mean, there's way more baseball collectors than soccer collectors for sure.
Yeah, I mean, you can't even like it's not even close.
Is is
But
is it is it that there's more like of that tribal thinking in soccer right now because we're a young hobby versus baseball, basketball, football.
well, like I said, I just think it's strictly there are team collectors in baseball, make no doubt about it,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah,
But you there's a ton of freaking baseball cards that come out every year. First of all, right? There's like a ton, way more than like I complain about overproduction in soccer. I mean, it's not even like in the same
yeah.
stratosphere.
Crazy.
But I think all of this whole discussion just comes back to, like I said, you need people that don't care about the team, a team, any team. You need people that don't care about a team at all to to want to buy cards for those cards to moon for the most part, right?
Yeah,
And that's what and that's the tricky thing about soccer. Like I the one thing I think soccer has going against it as far as like the United States is that all the biggest games are in the middle of the day. I love it
oh yeah,
as a
the USA.
uh,
Yeah, 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 yeah,
I'm talking about the
yeah.
the club
Champions
games.
League. Yeah, club
Yeah, yeah,
games
club
overseas.
games,
Yeah,
right? And so these basically the guys that would buy soccer, like they're basically getting their information from a highlight show or from a TikTok reel, an Instagram reel, or an ESPN headline. And so you can't
yeah,
that's why it's hard to and ESPN and the TikTok or whatever they're gonna put the article or the person that gets the most clicks.
yeah. Right at the top.
And so at the time, like like the tragic news today,
Yeah,
last I looked, I mean the top story is LeBron James gonna play for the Knicks or something, right?
yeah. LeBron James is
Where
one. Jota's two on ESPN homepage right now. Yeah,
yeah, and like if if a similar basketball player died, like they would be there would be more that would be what
oh, it'd
every
be the
show's about.
it would be the
Yeah,
banner. Yeah, yeah. I
yeah,
agree. I think I kind of my take on it because I have little kids is I have a few different positives, I think, going forward. One is the amount of kids that are into getting into soccer cards and that are into soccer has never been higher in this country. And then I
I
think
agree.
most popular sport in the world, Fanatics, puts a store in London as they continue their European spread or growth. Like I think that can only mean good things for the domestic soccer card market because if they're investing money overseas, that market will continue to grow because there's a ton of fans. Like one of my big knocks on the MLS and the thing I said to the guy I know who works at Fanatics is like, why is it that I can go to an MLS game and it's a Fanatics run store and I cannot buy Topps Chrome MLS cards? Like, how are
They should
you
be giving them out
like? But I go to
outside
like
the
a Yankees
stadiums.
game. I go to a Yankees spring training game in Tampa, and I get like 8 Series 1 blaster boxes and rip them in the stands. Like, what? You have to have that product. I went to the MLS All Star game 2 years ago in DC. Not a sports card anywhere. Not a card anywhere. Like, you already control that space. We have to start. We have to be able to make the easy plays if we want to grow this part of the hobby. Like that's just an easy thing that has to happen. SoCo's happening. We're going to have an East
Yeah,
Coast Northeast soccer card show in the fall. You know, I think we're starting to kind of build some momentum here.
I I think the best thing that could happen to the soccer card market, and it is going to happen. And I've said this before. So if you like sports card collecting in the United States, like we had the junk wax boom, right?
Yeah.
Of the early mid '80s, so forth, and like it was massive. Everybody was into cards, right?
Right. Right.
And so everybody had cards tucked away. And like if they were lucky, they stayed. They were here a little before junk wax or a little bit after. Um, and when the boom happened, they all like had life changing money, or not all, but like some of them had life changing money. And so what happens is, either they've made life changing money or their friend made life changing money who's told them that they've made life changing money, and they're like, oh shit, I can, you know, I'm a sports fan, I can collect cards and do life changing money. Let me in. In Europe and in the rest of the world, for the most part, at this point, the life changing money has happened. It's changing every
Yeah.
day, every single day that a big super is pulled in in Europe or wherever. I mean, Asia, it's been that way.
Yeah. Europe, though.
Like
Yeah.
that, yeah, Europe, that helps because that guy
Yeah.
is going to be like, dude, I just spent whatever $100 and I made 5 grand or 10 grand. He's gonna go tell his buddy, right? And his buddy's gonna be like, "Oh shit!" Like that's how bubbles start, or that's how manias start, right? It's when you think that you can turn a little bit of money into a lot of money, right?
Yeah. Right.
And so as that keeps happening in Europe, I think that obviously will help. Problem is they're not as risk averse as we are, as greedy capitalist pigs, Americans, you know, to just like, I'm gonna swing for the fences. I'm gonna spend
Oh, lost
10,000.
you.
Uh, they're gonna try like an American will be like, I'm gonna try to spend 10,000 to make 15,000, right?
Hmm.
Whereas a European's probably more likely to be like, I'm pretty good like spending 300, and if I make to try to make 500 or 1,000.
Yeah.
And
Right.
so, and that's kind of where, like, I've always kind of thought the soccer market, and still to this day is, the high end's gotten a little bit bigger, but the 5 figure is a good place to be, and like call it roughly the 500 and under is a good place to be, but like the 3 to 7,000 is like a terrible place to be.
Hmm.
And unfortunately, that's where I find myself in a lot of, in a lot of cases,
Yeah.
um, because I think there's either the guys that want the best of the best, or there's people that are just not as comfortable going to that level yet.
Yeah.
And
Right.
who knows when that happens, right?
Well, it
Um,
takes time. It takes time to build, right? Like I start with my BIS PSA 5, and then in theory I could go to it takes time to get, unless you're coming in with just gobs of money, like,
Shout out
uh,
Al.
shout out Big Al. Like, yeah, you got to build. And like, I think what a majority of us are doing is collecting, but also simultaneously flipping to keep collecting, right? Like I'm collecting cards for my PC, but at the same
Uh-oh. Did you die or did I die? Oh, I think it's a stupid helicopter.
Uh-oh. They're coming
I
for
think
him.
it's I think it's a stupid helicopter.
I've seen this on
Jesus.
Goodfellas. Get to the house.
Uh, no. So yeah, you cut out a little, but yeah, but
Karen!
that gets back to that's what I was saying. Kind of what I was saying earlier. I was like, you start out at the Speckle 299, but
Yeah.
really you want that. You really want that true gold, right?
Yeah, hell
So
yeah.
as time goes by, like the true Speckle is not going to probably appreciate like the gold or the red. Not saying it can't appreciate, but more people end up wanting something that there's less of, and less people don't want something that there's more of. That's just like simple supply demand.
Yeah. I think we both agree. Um, and then the big cards or the cards that are easily recognizable from sport to sport, like Topps Chrome, Panini Prisms, like True Colors. That stuff's just easily identifiable if you're coming in from another sport. Like people go crazy, like why is the Lamine Yamal Gold Chrome so expensive? It's like, well, because that is something that's easily identifiable as a key card, you know. Whereas like Merlin '98, like I don't know what the hell that is. Like like what's a Merlin? Like
Yeah, I've and this is kind of a mistake that I have I've kind of fallen into. Like I love 2020 Stadium Club. Like I
love it.
think it was
So
the
good.
first. It was the first. They did it great. Full bleeds,
Full
great
bleed,
color.
great
Great.
quality.
Yeah, great class, great quality. Like 2020 Stadium Club. And so I'm trying to put together like the gold run or whatever.
Yeah.
Um, but Stadium Club is not considered a good
No.
set for baseball, right?
Well, in
It's just
baseball, it
like a
sucks.
yeah,
Like
yeah. I mean, you
they're like
you could
paper.
go as far to say it sucks, right? And
It sucks.
so and so it's like we kind of have to fight against that
Yeah.
at the
Yeah.
beginning. It doesn't mean that that's going to be how it is always, but at the beginning, because as I keep saying, it's people coming from other places that cause like booms, you know. And so until we have more people that have the money and that are willing to spend the money on the stuff that we think is cool, that we've been. I mean, I think a lot of soccer people that were around then, like the new ones, were told like everybody loved. I think Soccer Cards United did like a best 2020 2021 like informal poll or question. I forget exactly what it was. And like 2020 Stadium Club was just like up. Like it was,
Still the
like
best. Yeah.
so, yeah, so many people love it. I mean, it's great photography. It's great this, great that. But like only we appreciate it. And there's just
Yeah.
not enough
Yeah.
of us yet, right? We
Well,
need more of us.
more. Yeah. Yeah. And that'll take time. I think one of the things that's going to be just completely insane to see, because it is going to be the identifiable set that other people can get, is when Prism comes out. I think we'll be at a time period where you'll no longer be able to buy licensed Prism football. You'll no longer be able to buy licensed Prism basketball. You'll still won't. Prism baseball will remain unlicensed, and so it's possible that Prism World Cup is the only licensed big time, besides WNBA, licensed sport product that they have at that moment. And that, because then if you're talking about other collectors, they recognize the Prism brand. I want a gold Prism. Swoop in
Yeah.
for the licensed thing that they see on TV all the time.
Lamine Yamal gold prisms are going to go nuts.
Yeah,
Absolutely
nuts.
nuts. They're going to go nuts. Um, and oh, thanks a lot, buddy. Um, but and some of those other players that probably don't have. I mean, look, it's no there's no mistake. Like if a player has a World Cup Prism Gold and you like that player, you should just buy it.
Yeah,
Like because it's probably never going to be cheaper than the time that you buy it, right? If we're operating under the theory that soccer is growing,
right.
because that's one of those cards that like everybody, even if they don't want it, they're going to be told to want it,
Yep.
and so they're going to want it. Um, and that's kind of how you have to look at like if you're looking at it from I kind of want the card, but also like in the back of my mind, I want appreciation. You got to buy cards that other people want. Like
Right.
that's what you're seeing. There's a reason, like I said, that all these higher number random platypus parallels eventually fall by the wayside. It doesn't happen in the first, on release or in the first year, whatever. But eventually, there's just going to be like nobody that wants them, you know.
Say what you want. I'm keeping all my tiger prints.
Well, Tiger's, Tiger has a kind of a thing to it or whatever, and they're not numbered, and it is what it is. But like the random stuff is just, I don't know. Like I get it.
Pink Prism to $2.99. Not doing it for you.
Yeah, I just don't. I mean, just buy. Yeah, like I said, buy what you want first, but close second, buy what other people want or what
Yeah.
what you think they want, because that's probably where you're going to be, you're going to be the safest. Like, I mean, the fascinating part to me is like what happens with all these sticker autos in the long run,
Mm.
because no other sport wants a
Wants
sticker auto.
those. Nope.
None. Like it's like this is strictly a soccer thing. Like, and so I think that's going to be like people are dumping like all this money into sticker autos, and I don't, personally, I don't think it ends well
Yeah,
because,
I
yeah,
look at
go
the
ahead.
sticker autos in my collection. I'm like, once the guy gets a Marks of Excellence, I'm like, oh, I don't want this
Yeah,
anymore. Like,
yeah.
why?
I mean, there's seemingly a new, you mean Marks of Excellence, like hitting the market every single day. And there's a ton of them, and there's still going to be more of them, right?
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
like, I mean, there's going to be over, assuming they did the full run of all of them, you're talking about over 1,000
Yeah.
like rookie on card autos, which in the grand scheme doesn't seem like a lot, but for right now, like based on their price, you take 1,000 and say the average price of one is, I don't know, because the 99s don't do that much, but let's just call it 5,000. 5,000 times 1,000 is a lot of money. So that's a
That's a lot.
lot of,
It's a nice market cap for a
yeah. And that's not including all
17-year
these,
old. Yeah.
and that's it's not including all these sticker autos that are, you know
Still doing crazy
getting
numbers. Yeah.
that are still doing crazy numbers. Like, excuse me, I only own, off the top of my head, that might be a lie. I don't know. I bought a lot of crap during the day, but there's, most of my sticker autos are messy and they're real, quote unquote real. You know, um, and any other ones I have, I really don't care about. I probably just haven't sold them because I don't even realize I have them. And I'm thinking about selling the messies. So
Oh boy.
that just
Oh
kind of
boy. Here we go.
that kind of
Here.
shows you like where I'm at. Just because I do believe in Fanatics, I do believe Fanatics is going to, I mean, they've already showed it. They're getting more on card stuff.
Yeah.
Um, and so what seems like the only option now is not going to seem like the only option as time goes on.
Right.
Fanatics is good about that. Panini never cared. Like
They don't care.
they don't care. They'll give us, one, maybe two, like attempts at like
Freeze.
caring.
Yeah.
But other than that, I'll give Fanatics credit. Like they look like they're caring. They're getting more and more on card autos, and I think they realize that that's a good thing. As long as they have access to them.
Yeah. And I think they
So
still will, and I think they'll probably have a lot more access next year, when most of these guys are over here, even though they don't have the license to produce the World Cup cards, they still have agreements with all these guys. So
yeah, I mean, I see like a second year Lamine auto, like that's not even low numbered, going for like $1,000, and like of 99 Marks of Excellence. I don't even think they're breaking like two grand right now, or some of them I've seen haven't even broke 2 grand, and I'm just like what are you doing? Like
yeah.
you
Yeah.
want
Yeah.
you want like two second year Lamine sticker autos of like Blue Wave, or something like that, or do you want an on card, rookie auto that's like not even numbered that much higher? Like I just don't think there's a lot of forethought going in. Yeah, I
But
don't.
also please come to the BTL table at SoCo, because I've got 5 to 7 Lamine Yamal second year autos that I have to sell so I
I,
can buy Marks of Excellence. So I can
yeah.
rebuy Marks of Excellence. Yeah.
Well, those are, well, yeah. I guess I don't know. I'm not trying to kill. I'm not trying to kill anybody's market, but
I don't care. You're not gonna.
You
You
know,
can't. I don't think you could.
I
We've
can't.
tried.
Well,
We've
yeah,
tried.
that's what I tell everybody. Like people get mad at me. I said nobody listens to me anyway. Like
Yeah.
so what does it matter? Like I told people to buy 71 bits until I was blue in the face for the last I don't know however many years,
Yeah.
and nobody listened to me. You know, so it's like don't people. I, I mean,
People are gonna do what they want to do.
people are
Yeah.
going to do what they're going to do. I'm definitely not even close to the most influential voice in this space. You know, I'd say every decent breaker probably has more influence than I do, especially with the people that like are spending.
Thousands with them. Yeah.
Yeah, that you
Yeah.
know, and so I that's what yeah. Like I said, that's what I tell all people all the time. Like if somebody's willing to read my review or listen to what I say, they're probably not going to be the ones that are like that you the pumper or whatever you want to call yourself or what have to worry about.
Right. Yeah.
You've got your hooks into those people. They're not gonna listen to me. I mean I get thank yous all the time from new collectors, old collectors alike that appreciate what I do, but you know it's not gonna be it's not gonna be the masses. But
And that's okay. We like our little corner here that we have. Any parting thoughts on soccer boom? Are we entering a soccer boom? We say kind of, sort of,
I
maybe in a way.
I think we're in a boom of the best of the best. I think we're in a something less than a boom, but also a good place. Whatever is like a mini boom. You know, like the boom. I'll try. We'll go Fourth of July, right? The
Mm,
boom is like
thank you.
the fireworks that you go wherever you know the baseball stadium or wherever local that everybody goes to see the one super high in the air. I think that's where the best of the best is. The soccer market as a whole is in whatever
Whatever
BTL is going to
show
be,
I'm putting on.
whatever BTL is doing tonight on America Fest. Everybody go
Hell
check
yeah!
out America Fest. You like how I did that right there,
Well done. Look at
right?
this. We got it all. We got it all set up here.
Yeah, I think that's what most of the market's in. Like it's in
I take that.
it's going
I take
up,
that.
but it's not booming.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Booming is the best of the best. Like if Al wants your card, it's booming. If like a random guy, if you go to a random page, I'll say it like this: if you get a random, if you have like a nice Lamine Yamal card on Instagram, and somebody randomly asks you how much it is, or gives you an offer through an Instagram DM or comment or whatever, and you go to that person's page and they don't have a soccer card, you should probably take that offer.
Yeah, yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
because
Pokemon's in the true boom for sure.
yeah,
You know,
Pokemon is more of a if yeah, Pokemon is in a boom boom. We're in a very top heavy boom, but we're also in a good spot where
yeah, good spot.
cards
Yeah,
are we're much healthier than 2021. I'll say
yeah,
that for sure. Like this is healthy. People's cards that have cards of you know good players should go up a little bit. But if you want out of those cards, get out of those cards.
yeah,
Don't overvalue those cards. Right? Get out of those cards and get into something that's better that you know you like you want to hold or that's just simply a higher quality card.
yeah. Cards are moving faster than ever. There's more ways now than there ever has been to sell your cards, including coming up. Not to do one last plug, but SoCo at the end of this month. If you guys are going to the National or thinking about going to the National, SoCo happens on the Thursday, Friday, Saturday evenings after the National, 4 to midnight in Chicago or Rosemont or whatever the suburb is. Um, it's going to be a great time. It's going to be 3 times bigger than last year in terms of tables.
Yeah.
Three
And
times bigger.
one other tip: go
Join
to the
America Fest.
National or go join America Fest. No, but go to the National. The first, like you know, assuming you're going to the National, or even if it's at
Yeah,
your local, even if it's at your local card show, and there everybody's buying now, right? Go take your cards to a non-soccer buyer first and say, well, you don't have to necessarily go first. You can go to the soccer guy first. You can go to the non-soccer guy first, right? But if you're at a show And if you're at the National, ask the soccer guy what he's willing to pay you, and ask the non-soccer guy what he's willing to pay you before you even sell a card. Because in my experience, the non-soccer guy is going to pay you more than the soccer guy. So don't just think because like there's but if you have Lamine Yamal or you have
Yeah.
Messi or you have Ronaldo, like don't take them,
Phil Foden.
somebody.
Don't
Don't
go
take them
Phil
for
Foden.
Foden,
Don't bring
right?
Phil Foden or
So
Phil Foden.
that's I think that's the main gist of what I've been trying to get
Yeah,
convey this whole time.
I think the strategy we settled on is take the high end Lamine to the main national to sell, and then bring that money back to Soko to buy what you want.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And it like I said, doesn't have to be Soko. It can be a local show or whatever.
It should be
I
so.
I got I got cashed out. It should be Soko. Everybody go to Soko. But I'm just saying I got cashed out at a local show in a boys and girls club for more than I ever would have probably got cashed out at Soko. So
Yeah,
on the
I mean,
minimum, on the
that's like
minimum.
the theme that we've painted during this show is that those guys buying those high end Lamines may not be the same as our cohort that we
Yeah.
associate with every day. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it should be fun.
So
We're
I mean
maybe
for
try
collectors.
we'll try to do another one of these before SoCo if we can get it in. If anything crazy happens, or I don't think we have any new product releases coming out
Um
before then. No
when's Noir?
tops.
Noir's
Yeah. Who knows?
one of them's in.
Noir's
There's
close,
something that
I
was.
think. Chrome Bundesliga, but I don't think we'll do a line
Oh
for
yeah, yeah, yeah. Chrome Bundesliga is exactly what you should not be buying if you
that.
watch if you watch this thing.
Chrome
Um,
Bundesliga is already it's probably already the redemption packs hasn't even come out
yeah,
yet.
yeah. Chrome
So no
Bundesliga is
offense to
gonna,
my Bundesliga fans. I got a lot of Bundesliga fans in my Discord.
and he's gonna
So
be selling a lot of it. I mean, it's got to be a fun break because nobody
yeah, it's cheap as hell.
you get break spots for $2, and so like, how can you go wrong?
Rude.
It's like But yeah, everybody go to Soko. Soko is going to be amazing. It was amazing last year. It's bigger. They have
So
all
good.
the activations slash contests slash whatever you call those things these days. It's going to be a lot of fun. And I can't wait to see everybody at BTL's table buying
Let's
all
do
their
it.
cards.
Let's go.
All right.
All right, guys. Take care. Have a good one. Happy 4th, everybody.
All right. Later.